Floyd is complaining to me. Complaining at me. Okay? There were lots of whangers. Yes, so I don't know what she's complaining about. What are you complaining about? She's purring. Quietly. Somebody that way is doing something. I don't know what they're doing. Anyway, I just had a conversation with Gord. Yesterday was his mother's burial here in Galt, and today was the ceremony in Brantford. So yeah, and so Gord was talking about how they were different, how yesterday was the Bond side of the family, his father's family, side of the family, and today was more the Smith side of the family, his mother's side. And yeah, so we discussed that. Oh, there's Julia with Chippy. Hey, good Chippy hunting. Good Chippy hunting. Yeah, good Chippy hunting. Floyd goes by. Yeah, so let's put this down. So we discussed the various things that went on at funerals and remembrances. And so that's Gord for a while now. We've gotten that out of the way. Yes, what's going on with Cineplex? Just a minute. Whatever. Yeah, so I was in the middle of making my supper when he called. So I was in the middle of eating my supper when he called. And I just kept eating. See, I was in the middle of making supper when I was chatting with Veronica. Veronica and I were chatting earlier over the curling because she's a big curling fan. She's a curler herself. And we like to talk about curling. So we were discussing that. We were discussing, what was going on, the strike stuff and everything. And we were watching the curling at the same time. So we got excited about it because Ontario was doing well against Northern Ontario, and we discussed that. And then she said something, well, that there was a break now. I said, I'd missed that because I was just starting my supper. And I said that I was going to bump up the volume so that I could hear it, but that I wondered if I would be able to hear it because of my fan going, because I had onions going. And we're just going back and forth about that. And so I finished, I made my supper, came in here, started eating, and Gord phone. So yeah. So it's been the making and the eating of supper covered by 2 conversations. I see. I see. Okay, so Cineplex doesn't own the rights to the movies that appear on their screens. We license them from Canadian distributors to play in their theaters. I see. Well, that's probably why certain movies don't come through Cineplex. because I wanted to see. Judy. And, well, I suppose my local Cineplex can't play every movie that's out. But Judy, I guess, was a small enough film with limited interest, general interest, and they did show it. So that was a little upsetting. Why have I got that showing there instead of that showing there? Anyway, oh, there we are. This is Niagara Falls today. They had an article in the paper about my union stuff yesterday. They said it was the nicest it wasn't a riot. It was the nicest the word is gone again, yes. Strike that they'd seen, the most well-mannered strike. Somebody said, what do you expect? These are teachers. These are teachers who are always being an example to students, children, children or students. We don't misbehave ourselves. Anyway, yeah. So what did I have for supper? I had vegetables. I had, what did I have? I started off with an onion. Then I went to celery and something else. Mushrooms, yes. Celery, mushrooms, and finished it off with lentils. I love lentils and mushrooms. My mother used to make it the way I absolutely love it, which is with a sauce, right? Lentils, mushrooms in a sauce with onions. But I don't do that. I'm not a sauce person. I have done it. I could do it. But my idea now is to not have sauces. Not most of the time. And I can make things just as good without a sauce by making it salty. Yum. So I had that. That was it. I had lentils with celery, onions, and mushrooms. And I thought, oh, that's too much in the way of lentils. It's an entire can of lentils. I looked at the calories on there. I went, wait a minute. I have no carbs in there. I have no pasta. I have no rice. I have no potatoes. They would add a certain number of calories. So I'm just going with the lentils and the vegetables. Fill myself up and I'm happy. That's basically, I eat and over the day I balance out the nutrients. I hope I balance them out properly. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm fairly sure. And yeah. I hope I can stay healthy with my diet. Hi Floyd, heard you coming. So I am done the morning class. I was done a couple of hours ago, and I have started on the afternoon class. So I am, well, not well on my way, but I've got Friday done for the afternoon, and I've got the morning underway and in hand. I know what I'm doing. I stopped because I was starting to get frustrated. Just didn't feel like it anymore. So that's when I started making supper, which is when Veronica started chatting and so on and so forth. I was watching curling because that would keep my mind on my work rather than on other things. Curling is not hockey, right? You don't have to focus on hockey, focus on curling like you have to focus on hockey. Anyway, there you go. I talked to Veronica, I talked to Gord, I had supper, and now I'm watching the news. And I believe there is a hockey game momentarily. Starting at, a hockey game starting at 7 p.m. It's on my calendar. See, you make a totally different noise when you come down the stairs. It's Aggie. She comes down slowly and step by step, where Floyd goes down. Floyd is better at stairs than you are. I know she has more experience, but she's always walked that way. Anyway, there you go. That's my day.